Shut up and sit down.
It's where the big boys play. SICW.
Welcome to Squared Root Podcast, everybody. Episode 125. And yes, we didn't put one out last week. That's 100% my fault. I was not feeling well. And that's all the details people need. I'm kind of private when it comes to stuff like that. So,
right,
you're a celebrity. You don't have a private life.
you know what's funny is that my store people were talking about how I'm famous around here, and I just tell them shut up and go away. Because I'm really nice.
But I'm like herpes. I keep popping back up.
But you're running one of the most predominant podcasts on wrestling in the St. Louis area.
Well, you're running it right now.
Hey,
and I say that because for a while, I stopped putting anything out as far as matches go, just because I haven't been feeling well. I've been dealing with a little bit of health issue. And Jim has taken that over and started putting stuff out again, and just being well received on the shorts section. But all the 3,000 or so people watching the shorts every time, watch the longer form content too, because you'll get historic matches that we'll start putting out again, as well as SICW and local St. Louis matches.
What's great is like this week alone is going to be interviews with some of the legends that we had at the Fan Fest. So Nikita Koloff came out today. So we had a small interview with him. And then I think we got one with Downtown Bruno coming out tomorrow. And then, of course, he was with, what was the guy's name that beat The Undertaker? That was his claim to fame. He was in WCW and WWE.
Come on, Bobby, you know WCW.
Right. He always was a bodyguard. Always dressed in a suit, black guy.
Mr. something. I keep wanting to say like Mr. Big, but that's not right, is it?
No, it's not. It is Mr. something, but yeah. But yeah, so we got a bunch of interviews coming out this week, plus some shorts on some mini matches and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely tune in. We are more than just a podcast. We've always tried to be
Hughes, Curtis Hughes.
Yeah.
There you
Curtis Hughes. Yep.
Yeah. Then, and
so
also,
yeah, and
I want to say that
definitely some cool stuff.
And
let's see.
Because of Jim and his friends, we're going to start hopefully doing more of the the Comic-Cons in the St. Louis area, go around and just bridge the gap and expand what the squared ring does. Also, that over there is from a fan of the squared ring, and I thank you for that.
What is that?
It's just the military alphabet.
Oh. Okay.
They brought it to me last week.
I will touch up on Comic-Con just a little bit. I went to a toy show over the weekend, and I'll get involved into that towards the end of here. But I'll just say that our boys from the Shriners was there handing out flyers for the Comic-Con that we are going to be involved in November. So everyone was getting these flyers handed out to them, and it was pretty cool. And I even had people coming up to me that I did not know and saying, "Hi, Big Texan, hi, Jim," and it was kind of cool. And the wife was with me, and she was like, "Do you know them?" Nope, sure don't. And then she got handed a flyer and showed it to me. I said, "Well, that's me right there." And she goes, "You're on the flyer?" And she looked, and yep, of course, me and Bobby's on the flyer. But they were. Yeah, they were very strong at handing out flyers. I bet you she got handed like 4 flyers by the end of the time that we left there. So we just kept putting them in our bag of toys that I was buying, and 5 minutes later we got handed another flyer.
Throw this out there to any SICW wrestlers. Hint, hint, we can do this stuff too. we need to go start handing out some SICW flyers.
Yeah.
Beat them
yeah.
streets old school style.
You know, I said Jim and I talked about it when I first got involved in SICW, and it was pretty much disregarded instantly when I mentioned you need a street team. The way marketing works now is you need a street team, and it was pretty much that's not the way things used to be, so we're not going to do it. Not saying any names, just saying that's what I was told.
Well, on
You need to
that
be
note,
more direct than just with your hint, Bobby.
we actually made some flyers for this coming up show this Saturday. And the Shriners, again, our partners in crime, Shriners had a gun raffle this past weekend at the Belleville Fairgrounds. And normally, when I was the Shriners champion, no digs on the current Shriners champion, but I did it for the last 2 years. I went to this show and, shook the babies. And I mean,
I don't think you're supposed to do that.
I didn't think you were a heel anymore, Jim. You're shaking babies and kissing what?
but I always showed up the last 2 years that I was a Shriners champion. But this year's the Shriners champion didn't show up. But they did hand out a lot of flyers. Over 500 flyers was handed out this past Saturday at the gun show. So hopefully we can see some benefits from that. And of course, I hit my regular rounds with the posters. So if you go to a few bars and a few restaurants here in Belleville, Fairview, and O'Fallon, you'll see that this Saturday night we got a big one there. So not only is our classic champion Bobby D going against Brandon Beretta for the classic title, there's a cage match. It's Lilith Khan versus Mrs. Hyde in a steel cage. And then we also have the tag team championships on the line as Billy McNeil and Curtis Wilde defend their belts, I believe, against the Whiskey Benders. So there's a lot going on this Saturday. But speaking of Saturday, yes, we are back at the Belleville Fairgrounds. Doors open at 6, showtime's at 7. Not too sure who I got. I don't know yet. I guess we'll see when I get there. But it's going to be very interesting to see if Bobby can handle Brandon, because I say that because 2 weeks ago he got the best of me and was able to schoolboy me at a minute where my motion hit. I was running towards the turnbuckle, try to splash Brandon. He moved. I hit the turnbuckle. My momentum, automatically pushed me back, and he just rolled me up for a quick 1, 2, 3, and he got me. So hopefully our champion.
Hey, well,
Better.
I'm gonna up that where it's gonna be an even more uphill battle after last weekend, wrestling at the NHRA, where after the match I got attacked with my own belt by Glenn Williams, and then took that spike pile driver from him and Axe. My neck is still hurting real bad, but I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna defend it. I'll put it all out there.
Yeah, so I don't know if Nate, if he can roll that fine footage that our used to be a good buddy of the podcast, Mr. Brandon Beretta, sent out to everyone.
Yeah, we used to talk outside of wrestling, but I guess too low rent now, huh, Brandon? All right, Bobby, you ready for this? This is straight at you.
October 4th, SICW returns to the historic Belleville Fairgrounds. Now, standing across the ring from me is going to be SICW's own Bobby D. Belleville's own Bobby D, the man that has all the little devils all around him for support. The thing about October 4th is that the SICW Classic Championship is on the line. Now, while strictly business, Brandon Beretta has been going around the country building a name for himself on television screen after television screen. Bobby D's been holding down SICW for many, many years. But your time is up. Bobby. October 4th, I'm going to prove to you and everyone else in that crowd why I am the standard of professional wrestling. Why Strictly Business Brandon Beretta is a top guy in every territory of this business. And October 4th, Strictly Business Brandon Beretta walks out with his hand raised and a new championship around his waist. If you do not believe that, you can read between the lines.
What's your response to that, Bobby?
There's no doubt that he's a top guy in every promotion he goes. He has put the work in. He's trained with the best. He's become a power lifter, transformed his body. There is no doubts about any of that. But his little Men's Warehouse promo also doesn't scare me. We had a match on SICW TV. Went to a 15-minute time limit draw. I didn't put him away, but he also didn't put me away. And I got I hate to say it like this, but I got the champion's advantage. He's got to beat me. He can't just let time run out. But then he pulls that BS where he attacks me after the match with my belt, drives my head into the belt. He has motivated me to work even harder and make sure he ends up on his back for the 1, 2, 3. And then let's also address his read between the lines. There's not even lines there. He's doing it wrong. You close the finger to make lines. He's making V's. He's saying read between the V's. He's an idiot.
I'm glad
It's that
you
Granite
said
City
something,
education.
because I was going to say the same thing. I was like, you can't read between the lines because
There's no lines there. That's lines. We all.
So,
I don't know about you guys, but we made the same insult in like 3rd or 4th grade.
I was more nasty. I just put straight the finger out. I'm sorry. I've always been nasty. But I guess the trifecta isn't going to, well, Jake Lawless isn't going to be there. He thinks you're going to lose.
Like I said, he is a great wrestler. I'm not taking that away from him. My neck is hurt. I'm going to go out there, put everything out there. I don't plan on losing.
Now,
End of
from what
story.
I understand,
It's gonna be a hell of a match. I can promise you that.
yeah, because he's coming off of a win where he beat Rhino, ECW legend, WWE wrestler, TNA wrestler. He just beat Rhino a couple weeks ago for a heavyweight title. I won't name the company, but he's got that. He still has, I believe, he still has the OVW Tag Team Champions. I mean that. I think I heard there's a tournament going on for that though, so I don't know if he lost them or if he's going to lose them. I mean, not that he's going to lose them, but he's got.
If they're just on the line.
Huh?
I don't know, but the way
You're
it
saying you
looks
don't know
right
if
now,
they already lost them or if they're on the line.
Right.
the way it
But
looks right now, Bobby, is the Hulk is ripping apart his shirt, and you're busting out in between his chest right there. So
I'm ready to burst out on the scene and open a can of whoop ass on him. How about that?
there we go.
there he is. Yes. So yeah. So the other main event for that night, like I said, is a steel cage match. Now, I don't think it's been done in St. Louis. Women's steel cage. So that's going to be kind of crazy. You know, you got two ladies that the last time they met each other, it was what do they call that when they have
But didn't Miss Hyde break Lilith's front tooth? Wasn't it Miss Hyde that broke her tooth?
you know, I'm not too sure.
But just to cut back really quick, as long as OVW's website is up to date, Totelli and Jackson are their tag champions right now.
Oh, they did lose them. So that's probably why there's a tag thing going on. No, I don't know if Miss Hyde is the one that caused her to break the teeth. It was a strap match, and that's what I was trying to think. Brain's not working too quick tonight. But they literally beat the hell out of each other in a strap match, and that's what's actually leading to this steel cage match. Because, you know, so far Lilith Khan has got the best of Miss Hyde each time that they've met. So Miss Hyde's going in there, giving it one more shot. You know, last time in the strap match, Travis Cook actually came out and handed Lilith some brass knuckles. and that's what finished off that match. So steel cage, there hopefully won't be any interference, and this can actually decide down the middle who is the better female wrestler in SICW.
We'll see if the searcher taught his daughter anything new. Huh?
Right. And she was trained by Tom Pritchard and Kane. So, I mean, she should have had the best of the learning. And just like anyone else in the wrestling world, when you get trained, those trainers stay with you for life.
Why do you have a knife in your
trainers? I talk to my trainers all the time. The guys I've trained talk to me all the time. So, the power that she has just by calling a Tom Pritchard or just calling a Kane and saying, this is what's going on. Have any tips, on how I can do better and how I can get over on her, that's a lot of power right there.
What are you asking, Nate?
Asked, it looked like he had a knife in his hand. I asked why he had a knife in his hand.
No. A knife always stays on my desk. Yes.
He's really pissed at Brandon. He's gonna stick that steak in the table.
Like, sometimes you really got to be ready to cut something.
He's just waving blades.
Yeah, so that's this Saturday night, Belclair Fairgrounds. Did mention that the tag championships are on the line again. Billy McNeil and Curtis Wilde has been champions for well over a year. They're the actual longest reigning tag team champions that SICW has had. Of course, they are, like I said, I believe it's the Whiskey Benders they're defending it against, which is could be their fumble there, because the Whiskey Benders haven't been in I don't know why WCW is on the tip of my mind tonight, but they haven't been in SICW. They haven't been in SICW that long, so really no one really knows what they're capable of.
Well, I can give you a little. I have wrestled both of them in singles matches, and neither one's a slouch, and they're both vastly different styles. Then again, you could say the same thing for Curtis Wilde and Billy.
Yeah.
I don't remember the Whiskey Benders' names. I know the little one's Joey.
Yeah, Joey O'Reilly.
He's got a lot of athleticism that kind of shows itself in weird spots.
Yeah, I call him a little cocky son of a bitch. That's what he is.
I mean, he is that too. And then the bigger guy, the taller guy, I mean, he's just got a lot of weird leverage spots, and I mean, he can hit you hard and punch you in the mouth when he feels like it.
Right. Now, I've had wrestled both of them in tag matches with different tag partners. One went my way. The other one was a count out, I think. So even I really don't know what they're capable of. Because the first time I wrestled them, it was me and our Joey, Mr. Italiano, versus them. And then the other time was me and Sean Vincent. So different styles on my side of the team. But like I said, it's a one win, one loss. Well, actually, I guess it wasn't a loss, because it was a brawl and ended up being a DQ. But so definitely,
I'm guessing that with the Vincent one, because he doesn't know how to follow rules.
That was the Vincent one, believe it or not. But yeah, so a lot on the line this Saturday. Plus, it's our homecoming, so we're hoping for a great crowd.
Which one are you going to be in the dress? Which one's the homecoming queen?
I'm the champion, so that must be Tex.
I'm gonna steal Nate and put him in a dress and have him come back out. But yeah, so we've been promoting the hell out of it.
No shame in my game. I'll streak nude. I have no shame.
It's not his first time in a dress this week.
I haven't been out of the house 4 days, so yeah.
However,
we call those moo-moos when you don't leave.
He's got this deep well-looking thing in his front room, and it's kind of weird because it's got a bucket that goes down in it, and I seen it. You got like a basket of like lotion and stuff next to the well.
And it goes on lotion. It goes on the chin or gets the hose again.
Yep.
Anyway, so that's pretty cool. I do want to talk a little WWE, just because we weren't on
Wait,
the air last.
you don't want to talk a little WCW?
I finally got it right. Don't get it in my head again. So I do want to talk at WWE. We weren't on on the air last week, and a big thing happened last week. It was announced that WWE was taking WrestleMania out of the country and over to Saudi Arabia for a whopping, well, can't give you a total. Let's just say well over $100 million. So this is the first time WrestleMania is not going to be in the U.S. First time it's going overseas, and just when you thought WWE was money hungry and going back to Vegas this year for WrestleMania 42, they up themselves and take it out of the country for $100 million. So I just want to get your thoughts on that.
Well,
Uh,
we talked about this a couple weeks ago, wasn't it? Going back to Vegas for 300 million or 250 million or something.
I don't think it was that much. I think they just went back there because that was their. They
So
made the most
this
amount of money.
this is just an AI overview, but it says Saudi Arabia is reportedly paying WWE 250 million to host WrestleMania in 2027 as part of their larger 350 million deal for both WrestleManias. Oh, I'm sorry, WrestleMania and Royal Rumble.
Okay. So they're getting two
Not both.
pay-per-views.
Yeah,
So
so 250 just for Mania and 350 altogether for Mania and Rumble. So 100 million for Rumble, 250 for Mania.
Well, have they let any news out on what the female wrestlers are going to be wearing? Because they don't want to wear full headgear when they're wrestling.
I
They're
think
used to wearing.
So they
practically
wrestle over in Saudi Arabia already for many years now, and they have to wear turtlenecks and long sleeves. They don't have to cover their faces, but they cannot show anything below the neck.
That's okay.
yeah.
There's no other way to say it, you know. I mean, if you're offended, I don't care. It just is. It is
Uh,
what it. Look at Jim's getting nervous.
No.
Jim's over there. He's like, I watched the women's matches for the wrestling.
No,
Yeah,
what I was going to say.
He also reads Playboy for the articles.
that's what you always say, Bobby, but you can never remember what the articles say.
They don't even have articles anymore, do they? Didn't that close down?
I think they're online only.
Besides WrestleMania going over, and for all the 250 million, 100 million, whatever it is, they also announced that, and they were flat out with us, saying that under McMahon priced the tickets for families. We are not under McMahon anymore. McMahon lost a bunch of revenue by doing that, and we are not going to lower the cost of our tickets because the supply and demand is so high. And they didn't set like a standard for what the tickets are going to cost, but they let it be known publicly that the ticket prices are going to rise still.
Yeah,
As
the
long
owners
as
basically
it's
said
there.
wrestling fans are stupid and they're going to pay whatever we tell them to pay. And he's not wrong, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it surprises me that they haven't received more of a backlash yet for the fans, because I mean that's just telling your fans, hey, you're stupid.
He basically
We
did. He flat out
are.
said they're stupid, they're drones, and they're going to pay what we tell them to pay. And they're doing it. People are getting loans, second mortgages on houses to go watch this shit.
Yeah,
That's
it's just
stupid.
crazy to me. Now, last weekend, no, well, 2 weekends ago, WWE had a pay-per-view same time that AEW did. Now, WWE had 5 matches. It was WrestlePalooza, and even how it was done on their PLE was broadcasted for the first time on ESPN. that one of the editors for ESPN graded it a C. Out of the A, B, C, D, F, he graded it a C. So the very first pay-per-view for that company, for ESPN is saying you didn't deliver. And it was only 5 matches on that pay-per-view. The only match that was talked about was the girls' championship match, because the other matches, I mean, you had a decent match with CM Punk and AJ Lee, only because it's the first time AJ Lee has wrestled in 10 years against Seth Rollins and Becky. Basically married couple versus married couple. So that was kind of had like a little excitement over it. But the other matches, it was talked about, but for the wrong reasons. Brock Lesnar versus John Cena was basically a squash match, letting Brock win, knowing that John Cena is going to be out the door in a couple months and that Brock has just signed a new contract. I don't get that match because you had John Cena earlier, turn heel so he can drive the business, and then eventually, got out of being a heel and did a promo saying it wasn't him, it was The Rock and the powers that be that made him turn heel, and then you just have Brock Lesnar squash him. So I don't know what the deal is here on that, but it made John Cena's farewell tour, I think, has a blemish on it now. Like, why did you do that?
Let me ask you a question here, Jim. How bad is your product and your script writers? When I say script writers, how bad is it to where you have performance contracts where you get paid money based on the performance that you're putting out for these pay-per-views outside of the basic shared revenues structure? And the thing people talk about are some of the slowest, less violent matches that you can have. I love the females. I love their matches. They're just slow and not violent.
Well, so the two that had the match put on an actual hell of a show. You had.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
How bad is your product when that is the show that people remember, that part of the show?
I talked to some fans late last week about WrestlePalooza, and I was talking to them about. See, now I just lost my train of thought. Damn it. Oh, basically what you're talking about, storylines. They've ran the same storylines for the last few months with the same people. And we're talking about what is wrong with them. Can't they do more than 5 stories at a time? We used to push WWE saying they are a much better product than AEW because AEW doesn't run storylines and doesn't build up to their matches. They just drop a dream match. Sometimes they don't even announce it, because Tony Khan used to do this at the beginning of the pay-per-view. He would announce who the opponent was going to be, and it was a dream match, but there was no build-up to that dream match. And we gave WWE props because they have build-ups to their matches. But now I'm going to have to say that the coin has been flipped, because if you're not within the 10 people, the 5 matches that they constantly rotate in and out, if you're not those 10 people, they don't have anything for you. Like I was talking, I think I talked to you, Nate, about the War Raiders being on a Monday Night Raw. They haven't been on a Monday Night Raw in forever. Just having them come to Monday Night Raw and be on TV, that changed the whole dynamics of that Monday Night Raw, just because the tag team you haven't seen in forever, and they're a great tag team.
The art of the jobber in WWE is gone, and you need that. You need setups. You need something because they're going to put everything they have into the match to hopefully get on the main card.
It's not even jobbers. They got rid of a lot of your mid-carders too.
They're so Monday Night Raw, of course, was yesterday, and I watched it, skimmed through some of it, but the one match that I thought I had it wrote down here somewhere. El Americano, he has
Grande Americano.
yeah, he has a tag team now where he's like in charge of, and they're called the Americanos. And I think one is called Roy, and what was the other guy's name? I just had that.
Has to be as cornbread as Roy.
Man, I can't believe I don't have it in front of my face. But oh, here it is. Perfect. All right, let me see if I can flip to it real quick. Bravo and Rio, or something like that. Rio and Bravo. The Los Americanos. They went against AJ Styles and Dragon Lee.
Americana.
Huh?
The Americanos. That's
No. So they're Los Americanos.
Los.
Los
okay.
Americanos. All right. Sorry, my Spanish is off. But they were so good because it was almost like a throwback to Edge and Christian's 3-second pose, where they would, they would pose for the fans in the audience that had cameras. And when you think Mexican wrestling, every wrestling action figure I have is always posed like some generic like Mexican style of pose, and they would do that during the match. So they did the acrobats like wrestling that Mexican wrestlers do, and then when they get done doing the move, they'll pose like just like this generic, and it popped me. It was pretty cool. If there's one match to watch that, because AJ Styles and Dragon Lee and those guys really put on a performance. And there is
Mark Henry come out as being him yet?
no, but that one. And there was one other match, and it was only a spot in the match. It was Rusev versus Dominic. Dominic. See, now I'm trying to go with WCW wrestlers' names. I almost said Malenko. Mysterio.
Damn, what were you two talking about? He's Bobby's a WCW expert, and you're not supposed to know much about WCW, Jim.
I know.
He's a closet fan.
But so they did an old Eddie Guerrero scheme where Dominic threw Rusev the belt and then fell backwards, like he got hit with the belt, but the ref had turned too soon and seen it happen. So he called it all off, and then Mysterio went to grab the ref, and he kind of pushed him into the corner, and then Rusev went to belly to back him, but Dominic low blowed him by kicking backwards, and scored the pin. But just that spot that was like a throwback to the old Eddie Guerrero, Kurt Angle matches that were fantastic. So that
of course he's going to imitate his papi.
Right, his father. Everyone says, and he does. He looks like Eddie Guerrero, even though he's supposed to be Rey Mysterio's son. But he's a dead ringer for Eddie Guerrero.
I remember that storyline. That was Eddie's son.
Even in the match, which is a match that has happened so many times, it was Usos. The main event was the Usos versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. There was even one spot that I was actually glad that I seen, even though the Uso couldn't take it. Remember when Rick Steiner would throw his opponent on his shoulders, and Scotty would get on the top of the turnbuckle and do what do you call it? Bulldog. He would bulldog the opponent that's on Rick Steiner's shoulders. They did that in that match. And of course, Jey Uso was the opponent that was on the shoulders. And, it's supposed to be a bulldog. So he's supposed to grab the back of the head and drill the head into the mat. But Jey landed on his ass instead of his head. So it botched the move. Yeah,
I went from a bulldog to a sheepdog.
yeah, it botched the move, but I was so glad to see them break that out. I almost thought they were going for a doomsday. The Legion of Doom would set up the same way, except for Hawk would come off with a clothesline and backwards flip the opponent off of Animal. Yeah, that was a cool part of the match. But other than that, it really wasn't really much of a show. You had Bailey versus Raquel. Let's see here. You had LA Knight versus Kofi Kingston. They've been going at it for a while, so it's like the same group. Seth Rollins came out and talked about how in the next pay-per-view, which is what is it? I have it written down here. Crown Jewel. The next pay-per-view, it's going to be basically all champions versus champions. So it's Seth, the world champion, versus Cody Rhodes, the WWE champion or the Universal champion. I think they dropped the Universal though. But so they had those two, not interview, but promo each other. So that didn't, that doesn't do anything for me. AJ Styles, like I said, versus with Dragon Lee versus the Los Americanos. I was waiting for someone to say something about it. And then you had Usos versus Braun and Brunson. So it really wasn't, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matches again. So evidently WWE can only put on 5 matches now. Whether it's a Monday Night Raw or whether it's a pay-per-view, 5 matches is all they got. The only thing that popped on the main event was Roman Reigns came back out and helped the Usos win. But I tell you, even that is getting old because he comes out, gets this big pop, he does a match, he loses the match, and he goes away again. And that's literally what just happened. He came back a couple months ago, only had 1 match, and he got Bronson Reed does this frog splash off the corner, off the top post, and he did that like 3 or 4 times, and that put Roman Reigns out of the picture. So he comes back, gets a pop, has a match, and goes away. So he just came back, he got his pop. So I'm assuming at this next pay-per-view he's going to have a match, and then he'll probably go away again. He's almost got the Brock Lesnar schedule, but in the losing side of it. Brock comes back, he wins. Roman Reigns come back, he loses. So they're just on the opposite schedules. But to me, it wasn't like an exciting Monday Night Raw. It wasn't a much watch. The 2 matches that I talked about, you can watch them on the clips, and you'll get just as much pop as you would have if you had to sit through the whole thing and watch the whole Monday Night Raw. But what I circle back to is, 2 weeks ago when WrestlePalooza was going on, where WWE had 5 matches on that pay-per-view, AEW had 12 matches on their pay-per-view, and they had some serious matches going on. So, like I'm saying, I think the coin has switched, and I think I'm going to start watching more AEW now. Plus, they're coming to St. Louis in October this month. I think it's October the 18th. Of course, we already got a show booked. I think we're in Breeze that day, either Breeze or Troy. So I won't be going to AEW. But definitely, if you're not going to the SICW show, give your money to AEW because it's still family friendly. And Tony Khan has already stressed that he's not raising the prices of his tickets. His tickets are set for families.
Well, he's finally doing something right.
Right.
Yeah,
So we're in
finally.
Breeze that day. October the 18th. We're in Breeze, but AEW is going to be in St. Louis, St. Charles, basically. No, not St. Charles. Forgot the name of the place, but it's right in St. Louis, right downtown. But very cool for them to come back, and I'm even interested in even going to say that I might buy the Showtime package over the ESPN package so I can watch AEW and forget about WWE's pay-per-views. Because like I said, I can always watch the clips on YouTube or TikTok and basically catch everything I need to know about WWE. So, I mean, nothing is really thrilling to me about having to watch. This podcast is the only real reason I watch WWE right now.
Me, I
Otherwise,
watch
I try to
more.
catch SmackDown. I don't catch a lot of Raw.
well, even
I
And
watch
I only
most
catch
of
SmackDown. I
watch
only
most
catch SmackDown because it's like a get together and my youngest loves it.
yeah. Now,
taking one for the team.
last week's SmackDown was evidently a pretty good one. They had Randy Orton come out and basically beat on Bronson Reed and his tag partner Braun Strowman. That tag team I was talking about. Yeah, I
I
seriously.
would recommend people watching SICW, AEW, and some NWA, OVW, some of the local stuff, but also don't sleep on international wrestling and actual wrestling, Greco-Roman. I still watch a lot of Mexican wrestling, some Italian wrestling still, and the guys in Australia because they're nuts. I just think it's funny.
Yeah,
But the last great Mexican one I watched was just a whole midget wrestling. The whole 2 hours was midget wrestling. I had a great time. It was fun as hell.
I bet. I've watched plenty of midget wrestling going to Vegas and catching their shows. And they even come out to Belleville now. I think it's a different organization, but they've been doing one of the bars over here in Belleville. So I might have to catch one of their shows there. But yeah, it's
I went to
definitely.
one called the Extreme Dwarfinators, which is a different promotion. They were out in Alton before.
Uh, yeah,
Yeah, Jim,
I
if you could try to contact the promoter of that, see if we could come and film and just help promote it, because they might be pint sized, but they're good.
yeah.
Oh, it's a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we actually need to create like a band of WWE or somehow to get them to realize that we don't want to pay that high prices for those tickets. We don't want to pay.
Well, that's what I was looking at, and I was silent earlier because I was trying to look up ticket sales for TKO's other promotion, UFC, and I was really hoping it would show a decline, but people are still paying it.
Yeah, people are paying it.
Ticket
And,
sales are higher this year than they were last year and the year before.
and they're going to get higher next year too. And they're going to keep
I mean,
doing it until they hit
that's
that
not.
threshold.
Well, that's the number of tickets sold. I wasn't looking at like revenue, but like the number of tickets sold are getting higher.
Mm.
People are not like, and I don't know what their prices are if they're as high, but I'd imagine they're higher since we only do
Yeah, they're
one or two a month.
get higher. Then you can still see blood in UFC, and that's what people like.
Definitely.
Jade Cargill showed blood last week on SmackDown.
Yeah, that was. And talked
I
about
had
it
to
on.
rewind it. That was nasty.
Yeah, talked about it on another
She caught that.
podcast.
She caught that ring post.
Well, I thought it was the steel stairs that she caught that on. Yeah, she went against Nia Jax, and of course Nia Jax is known to hurt pretty much anyone that she wrestles against. And yeah, so there's a spot. It might have been a ring post, might have been the steel stairs, but Nia Jax took her over there and banged her head against one of them and busted her open. And
Yeah,
then
I seen the pictures that she posted. The aftermath was
And it was a triple
Nice.
threat match. Tiffy was also in it.
yeah, and to top it all off, it was even a botch at the end because, and the ref is taking a lot of heat on this.
Yeah, that ref should probably get fired.
Yeah. So, Cargill went to pin Nia Jax, and Nia Jax kicked out at 2. So she kicked Cargill off, and Tiffany got on her then. And, she just kicked out, so she should still have energy to kick out. But the ref went to count 1, 2. Nia Jax didn't kick out, didn't lift a shoulder, and she should have just went and counted 3, but instead she stopped it and said that Nia Jax kicked out so the match can continue because that wasn't the end of the match. So now everyone's blaming the ref, saying, well, she should have just counted the 3. I say Nia Jax should have kicked the fuck out and continue the match like it was supposed to happen. If
I
you
thought Nia
have
Jax
enough,
did kick out.
no, she didn't. Her shoulders didn't come up. She didn't kick out. She didn't do nothing. She just laid there, and that's the reason
And
why
it was the stairs.
I thought it was the stairs. But anyway, so the ref is getting all this heat off of it because she didn't count the 3. But she's not the fucking entertainer. She's not the wrestler. Nia Jax should have kicked out if she knew that wasn't going to be the finish.
Yep, there
And
was.
Nia Jax literally just kicked out of a fast, count with Jade Cargo trying to cover her. So
she doesn't kick out. I got it on my screen right here. She doesn't kick out and then turns over and like bitches at the ref.
right, like,
Well,
so
I mean, she's a bigger girl. Maybe she didn't have the energy to
My-
do it twice.
My question though, with her bitching at the ref, was that supposed to be the finish? And the ref stopped it when she shouldn't have. Is that why she bitched at the ref?
I don't know. Everyone
Because
is saying,
Nia just took a big move, and then it was supposed to be like Tiffy stealing the pin,
but
and then the ref stopped the stealing.
But if Nia had just kicked out
I don't.
and then
She
shoved,
did, but I don't think she was supposed to kick out. Like it looked like Tiffy was supposed to break up the pin. It wasn't supposed to be her kicking out. She
Either
did
way-
just to make sure it happened.
either way, it was botched, and the ref is getting heat off of it. But I think most of that
Okay.
heat should go on the wrestlers.
The way I see it, it's the ref.
I don't know.
I didn't see any of it, so I'll let you guys argue on that point.
I said I'm watching it right now. Yeah, like she's getting covered. I think Tiffy was a little bit late on that first kick out, but Tiffy drop kicks Jade Cargill off and like covers her like same second, and then the ref stops the pin.
How long does the match continue after that, though?
She rolls her over, does that prettiest moonsault ever, and it's over.
So she ended up doing her
Like-
finisher on her.
Yeah, but instead of just stealing the finish, which is I think what was supposed to happen.
I don't know.
All right, Bobby and the Texan in the ring on the 4th to
Right.
end this argument.
All
That's
right,
one of
let's
those
move
things
on.
that only the wrestlers will ever know.
That's true. All right, so let's move on to my favorite part of the podcast.
Well, you sent me pictures of the attendees again, so we got to get into this before we get to the toys and the podcast.
Yes. So before we get to the toy part of the podcast, just a recap on the Shriners Comic-Con is going to be November 15th. You can go there at 9:00 and pay $5 more, which would be $10 for the early bird, or you can go there at 10:00, and I think it's 10 to 4 is the actual time, unless you do the early bird. But the actual time is just $5 for entry, and I think kids 12 and under are free, so it's very kid friendly.
Okay, either way, they're a good deal and doesn't break the bank.
Oh yeah, $10, $5, either way, it's not doing any damage. But you have not chances, you can just stand in line and wait to get autographs from 3 cool people, plus the people that do the voice acting, because I'm saying the 3 cool people is the Big Texan, Bobby D, and Nasty Nate. We're going to be there. We're going to do a live podcast there. We're going to chit chat with these 3 guys and ladies. And, the fans and the vendors and everyone else that we can come in contact with. But I don't have my glasses on, so Nate, if you
Emily
can,
Bauer.
yeah, and name off what she does.
She's a voice actress that contributed her voice to as Dawn and Cynthia in Pokemon, Zuzu Boyle in Yu-Gi-Oh, Arc V and Shinobi. Well, Arc V, Shinobi and Ninja Nonsense, and many, many others. Also, Linda Lessman's going to be there. She is a colorist that has worked on The Amazing Spider-Man, episode 134, Tomb of Dracula 16, Daredevil 111, and The Amazing Spider-Man 135. Second time the Punisher was in, and I am a Punisher fan. Anything violent I like, no. And Bill Reinhold, he is an artist that worked on titles of the actual Punisher. He did Earth X, episode 12, the first female Silver Surfer, Prowler, number 1, and Amazing Spider-Man 529, the first Iron Spider-Man costume appearance. He also did Green Arrow, the Badger, Batman, and just a lot of different others. He's also the co-creator of Spike.
There you go.
Don't know Spike. Might check that out when we're speaking to Bill on in November.
Definitely. Yeah, so those are going to be the 3 headliners besides us. We're along with them as the headliners, but you can definitely stop into our booth and say whatever you want. Give us a high five. Might interview you too as well, but we're going to sit down with these guys and interview them. And like I said, there's going to be everything there: comics, toys, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and Pokemon cards. So whatever your interests, definitely, Hot Wheels. I bought a bunch of Hot Wheels over the weekend, so that's very cool. But there's going to be some Hot Wheel racing going on.
And D&D.
And Dungeons.
Yeah, more Matchbox.
So very cool stuff. Like I said at one of the parts of the beginning of the podcast, I just did a toy show. I didn't do it. I went to a toy show this past weekend over in St. Louis. And it's basically set up how this one is going to be set up. There was a couple authors there of comics. They were signing autographs. A bunch of places that were selling comic books, and then a bunch of people selling their toys. And of course, I went and spent too much money and brought home some toys with me. So, further ado, we'll go with bag number 1 because there's 2 bags. So the first booth I went to, I did a video on my YouTube channel about my very first Ghostbusters purchase. And it was of the Ecto 1. And on my video, I showed how it goes together and everything. Very cool, but I also spoke that this was my very first toy ever, even as a kid, of Ghostbusters. So, on my list of things to get, which was as much Ghostbusters as I can come up with. And the very first booth, I was able to knock out the main 4 players. So I think this is Peter. I forgot his name. Anyone remember his name?
Winston.
Huh?
Winston.
Winston. Picked him up. I picked up the blonde guy too. And
Venkman. I know Venkman.
Yeah,
Yep.
I picked up
That
him
one's
too.
that one right there, Venkman.
So I picked up the 4 main Ghostbusters. And I picked up.
I did not see Rick Moranis. That's one of the four main.
He would be one of the
Well,
five.
he is the key master. So
Yeah, he's
Yes.
what do they call it? The fifth unannounced, or I forgot the technical term, but I picked up one of the ghosts.
The
This is from
coolest.
the original line. You know, you squeeze his eyeball out. Well, it's not going to shoot out for me. There he goes. Shoots his eyeball out. And of course, I had to pick up the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. So I was able to knock out a good portion of the Ghostbusters. Of course, you know, my main draw, anytime I go to a toy show or the flea market or anything, is my first love, which is, besides the wife and the kids, the LJN wrestlers. And I was able to pick up the one-man gang. Now this figure, it's hard to get this one mint because his whole body is black. So like under the blue, under the skin color is all black. This is part of the last line, and the last line sucked so bad because it was a different manufacturer. So they didn't do multi-colors like Jimmy Hart or even Hogan. They started out with one solid color and just painted over it. So any kind of rub marks, you get down to the main color of the figure. But he's still very valuable, very sought after, even if he has rub marks, just because it's so well
he was
known.
just looking for love in all the wrong places. That's why his nose is all black.
Right. But very cool pickup. And then my other two LJNs I picked up, and I actually have been searching for these because, again, these weren't the last line. This was like the second to last on the series. But it's I haven't even opened up the package. So let me pop that open. Up until recently, this was the only figure of Rick Martel, of this particular character, which is what were they called? Oh man, I don't know why my brain is not kicking in with me today. Strike Force. Of course, there was the model Rick Martel in the Hasbro line, but this is the only Rick Martel, basically him just being a wrestler and not the arrogance version. So this was his only figure in the LJNs, but he came with his Strike Force partner, Tito Santana. This was Tito's second figure in the LJNs. The only difference is the first figure, everything was like purple. He had purple tights, purple knee pads, and purple boots. So they basically just repainted this one. But these two are hard to get. And that's what I'm pretty much down to. I'm down to the expensive, hard to get ones. The referees are hard to get. Ravish and Rick Rude, Ultimate Warrior. There's two other versions of Hulk Hogan. Not this one where he's kind of sitting down, but where he's wearing a white shirt or he's wearing a red shirt. Those are very hard to find. But very cool that I was able to pick up 3 of the LJNs. I did not pick up any of the Hasbros. But another thing that I was able to pick up, and our buddy James is going to be a little mad. This is a Hulk Hogan. It's they call it a soaky bottle. Basically, it was filled with either shampoo or conditioner. And you know, you just pop his head off and pour it out. But even these soakies, regardless of what you're looking for, because there's GI Joe ones, there's He-Man ones, of course wrestling. All these from that era are basically sought after. So I was able to pick up a Hulk Hogan one, and very cool. Never seen one in person before. It still actually has some shampoo. I don't know if it's the original shampoo or not. I'm not going to try it out.
Well, I say the good thing is you don't need much.
Right.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, very cool figure to pick up. Figure, bottle, whatever you want to call it. All right.
Combination.
Yeah. Oh, look. So since I got into the bag, this is our actual flyer. There we go. I got like 4 or 5 of these. I thought it was very cool to just keep getting handed the flyer with us on it. Um, I started collecting Scooby Doo figures. Uh, I've at a thrift store. I found a couple villains, the Headless Horseman, and I found it was the old scuba gear guy. And as soon that was the first one I seen, and as soon as I seen it, I was like, I didn't know they made figures for him, but I seen it and I knew exactly what it was, and I wanted it. And so that turned into I must go to this thrift store every day because I know more and more are going to show up, and they did. I got the whole Scooby crew. I got the mystery machine. So it looks like some kid's collection just got dropped off, but the thrift store didn't release it all at once. They were pricks and put one figure out one day, 2 figures out the next, the mystery machine by itself, and then I was just in the neighborhood because it's right down the street and was able to just stop in and catch them. But one I wasn't able to catch, but I seen it at the toy show was this pirate guy from the Scooby Doo show. I haven't looked him up yet to see what his name was, but very cool. And uh, that particular video on my YouTube sparked a whole bunch of conversations that I didn't know. Netflix redid Scooby Doo, and they actually have 2 seasons on Netflix. And what I didn't know, and the viewers kept telling me, was in
So
those
that is
seasons,
Ghost of Redbeard, just so you know.
Ghost of Redbeard. Very
Yep.
cool.
When, if
Um,
you Google Scooby Doo pirate, that is the very first one that pops up.
ah, Uh, but so in this new version of Scooby Doo, Thelma and Shaggy are actually a couple, and then Freddie and who's the other girl? Thelma.
Um,
Come on, I know some people know it.
Daphne.
Come on. Yeah, Daphne.
Was it Daphne? Yeah, it might have been Daphne. Um, so Fred and Daphne are together. Shaggy, who is the knuckle brain, is with the smartest one out of the bunch, Thelma, and that just blew my mind. So I actually had to binge watch the first season. I'm on the second season now, but it was just crazy that
Okay.
those two.
But if you watch cosplay, she's still the hottest one. So
So just keep shopping around, and I found some He-Man stuff that I wasn't planning on buying. I just picked it up and looked at it, thought it was cool. I got this guy, which is He-Man's Battle Cat. But the guy goes, "Hey, if you buy the Battle Cat, I think I paid $10 for the Battle Cat. I'll throw in the He-Man as well." So I picked up a He-Man with all his stuff: the shield, the sword, the battle axe, and the comic book, and paid $10 for him. So no burner there. Easy get up there. Um, very cool. Now I remember, like, as a kid, my first memory of toys is weird because my dad took us to a fair, and in this fair they had one of those well, they had a bunch of the machines where it was the claw. They come down and you can grab a toy with it if you're lucky. And my dad won me the Battle Ram figure, and I still have him. My original Battle Ram figure. And then the other thing he won me was uh, it was from Star Wars, Jabba the Hutt. He won both of those for me that night, and my first recollection of a kid, those were my first 2 toys. I mean, I'm sure I had toys before that, but those are the first 2 toys that I can clearly remember him winning, bringing them home with me, and me playing with. So it was the start of He-Man and Star Wars, So very cool. Now, in the comic books for He-Man, some of the figures were different colors than what they currently are, as in the cartoon. And I should have pulled out the regular version of this one because I got them. But this is the comic book version of this character, where his regular version, he's blue. But this color, definitely, this is Trapjaw. Um, this color, I mean, I picked him up. I was like, wow, why is he I thought it was like one of those bootlegs, like a Mexican bootleg. And the guy told me, he goes, no. This is a comic book version of the guy. So I thought this was very cool. Picked him up. Came with all of his attachments and his comic book. So very cool pickup. Another He-Man pickup. And then my last things were just like some fun items. They're from He-Man as well. They're just like little pocket versions of the figures. So we got this guy too. He was the bird guy from He-Man.
I thought that was a monkey from Wizard of Oz.
Evil Lynn, just little. That was Skeletor. Just little pocket toys, I guess you would say. Oh, and this was a version of He-Man, Faker, I think is what he was called because he's blue. But very cool stuff. So happy. I did spend the LJNs, of course, were the most damage in my pocket because all the Ghostbusters, like each one was like $5. So I spent $30 on Ghostbusters, but I got 6 toys from that line. Spent less than $20 on the He-Man stuff. Spent quite a lot on the LJNs. Even the wife was shocked on how much I spent. But I tell you what, there was so much cool wrestling stuff at this toy show. And there was even a toy line that was never a toy line. The rock and roll, Hulk Hogan's Rock and Roll Wrestling. They did come out with like a mini Bendy wrestling figure for like 4 of them. But if you ever watched the cartoon, there was multiple of them, like Hogan, Andre, um, Piper. There was multiple wrestlers in this cartoon, and they were so cartoonic. They didn't look like these guys. They over exaggerated everything, and someone is creating them. So it's an independent guy, and he's creating the molds, and he's painting them up to look just like the cartoon. And I tell you what, those are awesome looking. I wish, I think they had 5 of them, and they wanted $1,000 for that whole set. I was not going to pay that, so I just looked at them very closely, but very cool. I do want to, the weekend prior to last week was the fairgrounds. And I picked up just a couple of magazines. I just want to show off. I picked up this very cool magazine. I love reading the old articles, Bobby, and looking at the pictures of the old wrestling magazines. And I wish I would have bought more of these. I only bought one. This was a Japanese magazine, and it has a whole bunch of American wrestlers as they wrestled people in Japan. But what I was flipping through it, and Thunderbolt Patterson is right there in the middle of this one. And we did not talk about it, but Thunderbolt is going to be on this Saturday's card. He's not wrestling, but he's a WWE Hall of Famer who is going to be in town for the SICW show. So I'm definitely bringing this book and getting a nice autograph on this picture.
I didn't know much about Thunderbolt Patterson. We've crossed paths between CACs and the Iowa show, and he is just a genuinely nice guy. Like, no matter where you run into him, whether it's a hotel, an event, no matter what, he's always about talking to people. Just an overall nice guy.
A lot of times they lean towards him to actually start the show via prayer. So they call him the preacher. So he'll start the show, and Thunderbolt. He's you can tell he's Southern, so he's got that Southern Baptist preaching skill where he hypes up the whole crowd when he's talking. But this book is so I can't read any of it because it's all in Japanese. But the pictures are so amazing. You got Harley Race, you got Bob Orton Jr., Hulk Hogan's in some of these. Just very cool pictures, and it's a very
Hey,
thick
we got
magazine.
access to Bob. You get that autograph too.
Yeah. Very, Ivan Putchke, Andre the Giant, Ric Flair, and then Greg the Hammer Valentine. So very cool stuff. He had a stack of them. I actually wanted to buy this one, and I wanted to buy another one that was all about Hulk Hogan. It wasn't because of his death or anything, but I wanted to buy it because it was just about Hulk Hogan. And I thought about it. I went there Saturday, and then I went back on Sunday because I wanted to buy that Hulk Hogan one, and he didn't set up on Sunday. So it was Saturday or nothing, and so I totally missed out. But I did pick up one. If he's there at the next fairgrounds show, not show, but the fairgrounds flea market, I'm just going to buy the whole stack because this book is so cool, and he was only charging $6. So
Nice.
very cheap for nostalgic. This book's from '78, the year I was born. So that makes it even better. But that's what I have for you guys tonight. Very cool pickups: He-Man, LJNs, Ghostbusters, and a little bit of Scooby-Doo. So if you
A lot
guys,
of variety.
yeah, a lot of variety, and I'm just going to plug mine, go to the Big Texan Jim, the Big Texan Hoffarth on YouTube, and you can see a lot more of my wrestling matches and my toy collection because I go over a lot of them besides what I go over here on the podcast. But if you like this stuff, like we say always, this is a small channel. So how you can help us grow is by liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. The likes and the subscribes helps us in the algorithm. Leaving a comment is a little bonus. We love to talk to everyone. We try either Nate reaches out or I reach out and try to hit a comment back. But for us to grow, we need your help. So the only way that can happen is if you share, like, and subscribe. And it just really will help us out get this algorithm in check and get this podcast and all of our wrestling matches out to a more wider audience. So if you can help us out, that would be appreciated. All right, gentlemen, you have anything else for the crowd?
Nope.
Nope.
I think that about covers it.
All right, perfect. Well, then we will see you Saturday at the wrestling show, Belle Claire Fairgrounds. Doors open at 6, and we'll see you guys at the show. Have a good night, guys.
I'll defend my title, and I'll have that suggestion or question box at probably your table. So
Yes. So Nate, stay on. Well, I'll just text you, Nate. Real quickly, I don't think we actually spoke about this, but Bobby is going to have a suggestion box at our table. So if you have any suggestions about the channel or ideas
or questions you want addressed on this, like any question you want us to answer.
Yeah, it'll be perfect for the November show too. We can answer all your questions live on the air. So definitely swing by the table and drop a question in. All right, gentlemen. Have a good night. We'll see you next Saturday. Peace.
Adios.
See you.